Whitney Cal, and I have been asking myself that question all week. I had a family member pass, my father, and my relationship was distant due to some circumstances that were out of my control. I have been trying to stay with that question, what would love do when, those times where you're frustrated or you're angry and you want to express that emotion. I have had a lot of things pass through. Today, I woke up with revenge on my heart. And when I wake up in the morning, my practice is to do the Ho'oponopono prayer. And it's, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. It's one of my favorite prayers ever. And when I wake up in the morning, I have a practice that I go into love. And I go into love because where my mind goes right when I wake up, well, let me ask a question. Where does yours go? Most people, when they wake up, have certain things that they think about all the time, every day. And we don't even realize it. This is my experience that I have a repetitive pattern of the way I think. So when I wake up in the morning, I have a practice that I engage in every single day. And it's taken me a while to get really focused on that practice to not only ask what would love do and think about how it feels to be grateful and what I'm so fortunate to have in my life. But I also have been paying attention to the days when I wake up and have a lot of rage or this morning the revenge. And then how do I navigate through that? What kind of conversation do I need to have with my little girl? And the final thing that I really noticed is what I have to ask myself is what would love do for my little girl? How would I show up if I was nurturing myself, not other people, and taking care of what I need? And that looks a lot different than what would love do for someone else. What I did was I talked to a girlfriend today, and she's the one who always says, what would love do? And that's where she pointed me back to is in this case, because I'm dealing with somebody who is completely ignoring me and I don't have any other way to, I'm not invited to my father's um, celebration of life. And what I am working through is when you're not invited to a family's um, funeral or celebration of life, when you're not invited, when you're excluded, how do you navigate that? My attention to what would love do is usually how can I love that person or how can I build love in my heart and create a loving connection. But when someone doesn't show up, they don't want you to be there. They're rejecting and abandoning that connection. Then it's so important for me in this moment that I have to focus on what is love for me, not what's love going to do for the other person because they're not interested. They're checked out. What would love do for me? What would love look like to my little girl? And what that looks like for me is I'm going to my dad's funeral uninvited. And my heart is torn between doing what someone has projected onto me most of my life and doing what makes me feel satisfied and important in my own heart and facing the fear of rejection, which is not easy. I don't know how many people face rejection, but it is not something that's easy to walk into when you know that there's a battle that's coming with another individual. What would love do for my protection? Which isn't usually what I ask. I'm always thinking, what would love do for them? How can I love? How can I give? Because I have so much. So today I'm asking, what would love do for me? And I'm going to fly in to my daddy's funeral and get to know a man that I never got to know while he was alive. But I get to know him through his church and through the people that loved him and celebrate his life. Cheers.